Good afternoon. This is the House Appropriations Committee. It is Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, just after 2:15, actually about 2:20. And we are continuing our work about the Budget Adjustment Act. And we have with us the Agency of Natural Resources, Secretary Moore, and friends. So if you all want to introduce yourself, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Sure. So thank you, Julie Moore, Secretary of Natural Resources, and I'm joined by Charles Martin, who's our Deputy Secretary, and Steve Gomez, who's the agency's Chief Financial Officer. We thought we would start with the BAA requests, and then can talk a little bit about ARPA and answer other questions if you have them.
Thank you.
Our BAA requests are actually fairly modest. There's just two. The first one is relevant to the Department of Fish and Wildlife. As you may recall, there was a statewide law enforcement RFR that was in process when you were here last year. Ultimately, it was approved in April of 2025 and resulted in a 2 pay grade increase for almost all of our game wardens and a 1 pay grade increase for one warden. It was made retroactive to July of 2024, so almost a full year. And that is why we find ourselves here today. Both in that we did have a BAA request or receive a general fund appropriation in anticipation of this RFR. But it ended up being insufficient for the 2 pay grade increase. And so we are asking for an FY26 budget adjustment to meet the full financial impact of that warden RFR. We did account for some increased amount of vacancy savings since we now have benefit of actuals.
So the total 2 pay grade increase is the 290 plus the 210?
Correct.
For record, Steve Gomez, the 290 reflects the FY25 impact, the 210 is the FY26 impact. So that accounts for everything, the 2 pay grades for most of the wardens, for 1 pay grade increase for the major. So this will make the department whole for both 25 and FY26.
Okay. And so in FY27, you have the right amount in the budget, I assume, because now you know all this.
Yes, exactly. So that got now, since it was officially approved, the timing date where it will be in the budget software, so it'll come through the FY27 budget. We'll finally be caught up.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Does this make sense to everybody? Any questions there? Okay.
The next one, that's just the budget development form. We skip over that and go to FPR. And this is around wildland firefighting costs that were incurred this past summer. So as you are likely aware, there was a severe drought throughout much of Vermont throughout much of this summer, resulting in very high wildland fire danger. We saw a significant number of fires, totaling 84, even though it was a relatively modest number of acres that actually burned, just at 66. But this did require our small but mighty wildland fire team to be on call for over 2 months. And a lot of concerns that given the persistent and widespread nature of the drought, any wildfire that initiated could quickly grow and be difficult to contain. You may recall there was a general fund appropriation in 2025 of just over $34,000 for wildland fire response. The $105,000 BAA request covers overtime. We did end up deploying a U.S. Forest Service helicopter when a fire lit in Williston this I think September was when October. Just given the proximity of that particular fire to houses and other infrastructure, I believe that helicopter deployment alone cost more than $10,000. This is a really challenging space for us in trying to not incur unnecessary costs, but also be very cognizant of the risk of wildland fire. And so that, as I say, that $105,000 BAA ask reflects our actual costs from this past summer season.
Where were some of the other fires? Because 84 is quite a lot. I hadn't realized there were that many. Just sort of in general, where were they all?
I think they were pretty
Everywhere?
widely distributed, yeah. And none of them were particularly large this year. The previous year, there was one larger fire. But that was not in calendar 25.
Do you have a question, Mike? Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Are you able to say whether we are still officially in drought?
So I believe, and I will turn it over to Charles, who actually sits on the state drought task force on my behalf, but I believe the drought conditions have abated. So we are no longer in severe drought in most locations, but there are places that certainly groundwater levels are lower than we would like to see them. And we anticipate those conditions will persist into the spring. At this point, they're sort of frozen in. I don't know, Charles, if you'd say anything. Okay.
Yeah, I thought we were completely out of extreme, is extreme drought that's the worst one, right?
Yeah, we're
And
not in
then,
that
so
situation.
nothing is that, but some has,
I think there's still.
television stations every Thursday show the updated whatever, so, you know, you follow the little maps.
Kind of a multi-year, low reset, believe it
Yeah.
or not, setting aside a few catastrophic events from recent years.
Yeah.
So the legislature can anticipate drought conditions this summer.
Yeah.
Could be exacerbated in the last few years.
Right. And farmers too. John?
I was just curious about the helicopter deployment. That was just a one area, one fire.
Correct.
Yeah. What were they doing?
They dropped
They're dropping
water.
Yeah. Water.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was a piece of equipment that the US Forest Service actually stationed in Manchester, New Hampshire, recognizing that there was a significant regional drought to have available in case of emergency.
I'm actually surprised it was only 10,000.
I think it was more than that, Charles. I don't know.
It was 18, that's on that slide.
All right.
Not in it.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, here we go.
18,000, but already 8,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the Charles, if there's further interest in this, FPR is going to full brief the government operations committee this week at 2:00 Thursday. Also to share synopsis from that. If there's interest.
Great.
That'll look back to the last.
So Marty has a question, then Wayne does.
Yeah, we note that they were all small fires, it looks like. What's the dividing line when the local fire department can't handle it and they call the state in? How do they make that decision?
They make that decision when they feel like they lack adequate resources, either in terms of volunteer personnel they're able to rouse, or that the fire exceeds the capacity of their department.
That just surprises me because it looks like they're a couple of acres apiece. I mean, I'm sure that's the average, but.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Could you characterize the nature of the causes of the fires?
They are almost exclusively human caused. I believe there may have been one caused by lightning, Charles, but the rest of them were people, I think, largely making bad decisions about when to light a fire or untended campfires.
Some of them in forest were they mostly around developed area, or some of them remote?
Some of them were remote as well.
Another statewide ban, in fact, debris burning from October when conditions sort of mitigated.
And just a few facts and figures about FPR's wildland fire team. We have 3 staff that are dedicated full-time wildland firefighters. There are additional 22 staff within FPR that are what we call red carded, meaning they have completed a set of training in order to be able to fight wildland fires, whereas those 3 full-time folks can actually run the incident command. And then we also rely on Vermont's volunteer and paid firefighters. And there's over 500 folks that have been trained from that corps.
Didn't we meet them last year when we were at public safety, when we went to Waterbury, we met the crew. Who were they?
So obviously we have fires that are caused in backyards and that sort of thing. And, so how do you define whether or not it's really a wildfire that we should respond to, as opposed to something that's, say, in a village or something that perhaps the right people to respond to? The responsible organization is the city, town.
Sure. So if it's on state land, obviously we are in the lead on responding. When it is not on state land, we generally rely on the local fire department to request our assistance.
So all of these are on state land or associated.
No, I think this is the number of fires we were made aware of. Some of them may have been fully contained by the local fire department, but we sort of maintain the overall database of fire activity in the state of
So
Vermont.
you didn't respond to all of these fires.
We did not respond to all 84 of those fires.
Any questions on those two requests? Seem to be straightforward. Shall we switch to ARPA for a moment? Thanks.
So as you may recall, we have a giant list of A&R-led initiatives in this space. I would say the sort of through line in many of them is around water and water infrastructure. There are a couple outliers in that space, state parks connectivity and major maintenance, perhaps among them. But in general, the stormwater, just read down the list, right? Stormwater, combined sewer overflows, green schools is stormwater, healthy homes is drinking water and wastewater. Wastewater pretreatment is for businesses. Our roads and state forests, again, is stormwater, rural infrastructure is drinking water, 3-acre and state parks is stormwater. You get the idea.
Wastewater.
A lot of drinking water, wastewater and stormwater work. Over $190 million in total was appropriated to the agency. And at this point, we have either expended or encumbered 97% of that. And on the next slide, we have some updated statistics. I know Douglas Farnham was in recently, and he provided you with the numbers that are shown in this table through September 30th.
Right.
The December 15th numbers are our most current figures. And you can see we've continued to make progress in getting these dollars into grants and contracts and fully obligating them to the types of projects described. We are now at the point of having just about 5.8 million of that 190 million that is either unencumbered or unexpended as of December 15th, and believe we are fully on track to meet both the ARPA and CURE general fund deadlines that have been provided to us.
So are the two questions here on this, Julie, is the 5.8, didn't they have to be encumbered or obligated by last December? So is this general fund money that there was a swap and that's why it's still in that category?
So some of it is general fund money. The 3.2 million is general fund. So then we're talking just about the 2.6 million. And I'm going to defer to Steve.
Yeah, so what's happening there is when we have a project that comes in under budget, so let's say it's a healthy homes initiative or a project comes in under budget, so that money is on that bottom line. What happens is it'll get redeployed to, if there's a cost overrun on another project.
Okay.
So basically just kind of like seeing this churn cycle with projects as they complete, they come in under budget, that hits the bottom line. And we know we're gonna have some that come in over budget, so that'll get absorbed there. And that's in accordance with treasury guidance and policy, so.
Okay, oh, good. So, yeah, that's good. So also on that, just to the left of that is 36.2, you have encumbered obligated, but it's not expended. And that has to be done because that's by the end of this calendar year.
Correct.
So, and are you feeling confident that 36.2 will be, I mean, if you have money to spend, are you spending ARPA money before general fund money at this point?
We are. We have made some of those swaps. In 3-acre stormwater, I think is probably the best case study of that, where we have ARPA money, we have some clean water fund money, and we have money through the Lake Champlain Basin program, and are prioritizing deploying those ARPA dollars before we tap into those other sources that don't have the same clock attached to them. So yeah, we're very cognizant of making sure we spend the ARPA dollars first. Obviously, these are big infrastructure projects, and so we need the construction season. We had anticipated throughout that we would need sort of the full 26 construction season, and believe we're on track.
Yeah, okay. And then the general fund, just as a reminder, I don't see Emily here, but we put language in the budget last year that anything that was swapped for general fund, I think has to be completely used by December 27, right? So we gave you an
Correct,
extra
yeah.
12 months.
Correct.
So, and you're feeling okay about that?
Correct. We are.
Yeah, you guys had the most and the most complicated things of any agency.
It's been an incredible book of work. I think there are a number of those initiatives that the staff take great pride in. The Healthy Homes program is probably our shining star in that space. I believe the estimate is now we've helped more than 6,000 Vermonters. I think it's about 800 households, but 6,000 Vermonters have better, more reliable access to drinking water, safe drinking water and wastewater disposal, which just feels like such a great story to be able to tell.
Yeah.
We knew those conditions existed. I think we were overwhelmed by how many Vermonters are challenged to have a good well and good septic system. But the ability to have resources to help has been just a gift.
Yeah. And do you still have some money left for that or are you tapped out?
We're about tapped out. We ran what would be our final round of grant funding this past December, and are in the process of making that final set of awards. So I think they anticipate being able to award about 150 additional households.
Great. Yeah, excellent. Wayne?
So our big stormwater and sewage treatment facility problem that we have, overflows into Lake Champlain, that sort of stuff. Where do we stand, and are we proceeding at a rate that's going to get us in an expedient way towards solution to those problems, if we ever can?
Yes, so combined sewer systems, you're right, are really challenging. These are systems that are functioning the way they were designed and built. They were just designed and built long before wastewater treatment plants existed. And so undoing that past practice of sending all of our wastewater and stormwater runoff in a single pipe is complex. Through ARPA spending, as well as some money in the bipartisan infrastructure law, we've been able to make a pretty significant leap forward. We've been kind of picking away at this work over the last 10 to 15 years. We had always envisioned it was a multi-decade process to fully address all of our combined sewer overflows. I think the roughly $40 million we have invested of these federal funds was about half of the remaining work to be done. The flip side to that is that last piece is obviously the hardest, most expensive, most technically complex. Each of the communities that has a combined sewer system has what we call a 1272 order, so a compliance order with the state, and they all remain on track with their obligations under that. So we will get there. And the funding, the federal funding we saw over the last several years has just been a real boost in terms of any projects in that space that were effectively ready to be built. We were able to help them forward.
Have the ones you have built, any of them turn out to be deficient? Were they all affected?
I believe so. I think the most significant work was done in the city of Rutland, and I know we've seen some really meaningful improvements in the quantity and frequency of overflows they experience.
Other questions? Seeing anyone, you guys have done yeoman's work over the past few years, getting all this money out the door and in such a variety of places. So yeah, Vermonters are better off for that. So thank you.
Thank you. I can't speak highly enough about all of the staff that have been involved in this work. It really is one of these that takes a village.
Yeah.
And I would imagine, there's about 600 full-time year-round staff at ANR. I bet more than a quarter of them have had some involvement in an ARPA or a bipartisan infrastructure law project at this point. So
I bet they're pretty tired because I can remember asking when we first got the money, what was it, 5 years ago? Do you even have the capacity to do all this? Because there's a lot,
It has been a lot. Yeah.
A lot.
And
So I hope everybody will get a little break at the end of December.
Me too. I mean, I think it's one of these, for so long you've said we don't have the resources to do the things we need to be done. And now we have the resources. It's like, oh boy.
Now careful what you wish for.
Yeah. But it's been such an incredible team effort. And I think really that point has resonated with a lot of staff, that this is this unprecedented opportunity to fix some things that have just been hanging out there for their entire career. And it feels really good to see those projects move forward.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole point of the ARPA money.
Correct.
Make those transformative changes that you couldn't otherwise do.
Correct.
Success, great. Thank you to your team, we appreciate it, and all the staff who did work so hard on this. So we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks or so with the FY 27 budget.
Well, and we are preparing a more detailed breakout of the ARPA initiative by each one of those tasks,
Yeah.
and happy to share that with you. But as I suspect, you know, we always have these kind of white paper fact sheets that we maintain for each of those initiatives. So the team's updating those right now.
Sounds good, thank you. Thank you all, appreciate it.
Plug you, okay?
Yes, please.
Really more unplugged.
Better than unhinged, right?
Okay, we are going to switch gears again. We're actually a little bit early, I think, but are you ready, James?
Well, I was having some copies of the deck.
Do you want to go live for a minute? Why don't we go live for 5 minutes and then we'll get ourselves ready for the next one.